Here we are in the palatial palace of Dave Rudd, BANZAI COBRA. Now, Dave, I've known you a long, long time, and you've been racing a long, long time. How long have you been racing? And I can't remember what your original car was as well.
Well, I first got involved in drag racing as a spectator, no doubt a lot of people do in York when I was 16 years old.
Yeah.
A friend had a Rover V8 in Morrison Arena. He raced in York. And that moved on over the years to coming down to Saturn Pod as a spectator. The wife was there, with two girls. And over 10, 15 years, got to know quite a few people. And so we were sort of coming down for all the big events. I think at the time there was 7 events a year there, 7 big events. And 20 years ago I got divorced. So I kept coming down with the 2 girls, Kat and Steph. Just wandering around the pits one night, and I'd met a chap with a blue Vauxhall, I think it was, Gordon Northway.
Oh yeah, Goldie, yeah.
Good.
Blue one, and he originally that was to do with MS, wasn't it?
Yes,
it
was, yes.
Yeah.
And he was neck deep in a bottle of carton of red wine because his car was broke.
Right. Okay.
The sump had split, so I foolishly volunteered to weld it up the next morning.
Right. Okay.
Not realising we couldn't take it off the car. I've taken the engine out. So anyway, to cut a long story short, between me and his mechanic Steve, we managed to weld it up in situ, and he competed for the rest of the meeting. So got invited round to the pit at the end of the day, and had a few beers and some grub with him, and he just offered me a job of crewing for him.
Right.
Which was great because I was coming down every meeting anyway.
Yeah.
So crewed for Gordon for 3 or 4 years. To jump back a little bit, the very first time I came down here, I saw a white Cobra called BANZAI, and talked to the owner, and it was built in the same housing estate where Alan was growing up,
Right.
Newton Hall. Moving back and forwards again, found out that Billy Kane was running the same car,
right,
in Pro ET. Got chatty with him, found out the car was for sale. And I think that about the main event, I said to him, if it's still for sale at the end of the season, I'll buy it. Subsequently, I did, and went down New Year's Day. I can't remember what year it was now. It was 15 years ago, I think. 14, 15 years ago. Picked it up. Campaigned at York for 3 years. Did really well at York Raceway. Finished second Pro ET twice. And then, unfortunately, the third season had an issue with the rear axle, which we still don't know exactly what it was, but I ended up hitting the arm at 80 miles an hour. And basically wiped the front end off the car. And I always said to the girls, I said, crash it or break it, can't afford to repair it. So I was thinking, well, that's the end of that. And then a young lad from up north, Dave Downs, got in touch with us. He said, I've got a workshop just up the road from where you live. And I've got pipe end, we'll have to take you out and build this, that, and the other. I've got my own drags there. I think he was running a Blue Beetle, a little red rooster at the time.
Yeah.
So he come round and had a look, and he had a pond there, and I asked him to do some test welds for us, and through work I got some macro extra as well for mine. Looked at some of the previous work he'd done. It was really, really good. So I stripped the car down in the garage, and the frame car was at the time 32 years old, I think.
Right.
And it was very tight. It had Mark 1 Capri front struts, it had an Allegro radiator in it. It was a Heinz. Just whatever was about it.
But an Allegro in it.
So And also at the time, I got the chance of getting promoted. So I thought, right, strip it down the bare chassis, the bare space frame, got it all shot blasted, cut all the bad bits out, made a jig, and decided to extend the car 5 inches. So I was sort of very square. Found somebody, the boat builder, local, who said he would try and put the fiberglass back together because the molds had not been thrown away. And the bonnet came back from York in about 6 or 7 bin bags. It just exploded. So, I don't bore you with the details, but 5 years later, we finished it.
Yeah.
Took a lot longer because we kept changing things, and the bits we did look so good, and the other bits look bad.
And what about your motor? How was that?
I already had a new motor lined up.
Right.
The big block that was in was very, very tired. The EDA from Castleford was built as a small block, which again is another story. But that wasn't ready for that Easter meeting. It should have been, but it wasn't, fortunately.
Yes.
Because I would have crashed it with a brand new engine in. Unfortunately, I didn't. So the engine was the least of our worries. Got in touch with a few, and all the big race car builders in the country. And Andy Robinson Race Cars got back in touch and said he couldn't help financially, but he could help technically, and obviously he supplies parts and that. So I've got all new suspension, front and rear, new four-link setup. He gave us some help redesigning the chassis. Spent hours on the phone. Can't sing his praises enough.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Everyone says the same.
Yeah, I mean, I probably spent about 10 grand with him.
Yeah.
And however much of that profit, I've got no idea. It wouldn't have been a lot considering people buy like 100,000 cars off, 100,000 pound cars off, etc.
Yeah.
He's just had all the time in the world. Really good. So we brought the car out at the French Fest. About 5 or 6 or 7 years ago now. And it was in February. It was cold. It was foggy. And I'm like, I'm not going down the track. Not like this, not my brand new car. And I think it was Ian Critchlow being out on his bike. He said, Dave, that track's fantastic, get out there. And I did a burn out on the launch and what have you, getting march of the road and that. And my first full pass was 9:48, which is still my PB.
Yeah.
5 years later. Yeah. We think it was just the weather conditions and the track was so good. It was just on.
Obviously had a lot to do with that as well.
Yeah, on straights and that. Yeah. I had very few problems with on the track with it. Every now and then she'll give a little wiggle for some reason, but just pull straight through. No problem at all. Very rarely do I have to lift on a road.
Yeah. No.
So that's it.
Yeah.
In a nutshell, really.
And now, obviously.
Well, this weekend we should have done a lot better than we have.
You was here at the main at Easter.
We were here at Easter, yeah. We were here at Spring Speed. We were sort of mediocre at both events. Qualifying midfield. I got through 3 rounds at Spring Speed. I got through 2 rounds at Easter. This meeting, the car has been rather consistent since we've been picking up numbers. Yeah, we've had a 974, 975, 2 976s. Yeah. We're in the fields for 17th.
Yeah.
Which, if things stayed as they are, we'd be up against number 1, so I really need to improve.
Right, okay, yeah.
But saying that, qualifying.
It could tomorrow be a 64 car field, possibly.
It possibly could. There's 2 cars sort of teetering on the edge of whether they're going to be out for another qualifying round. The field's currently running at 40, and they 50 for a 64 car field, I believe.
Yeah. Right. And then it goes down from that 32.
64 straight down to 32, so you'll have unhappy races after the first round. Or if it's a 32 car field, there'll be a lot of unhappy racers before the first round.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So the aim of the game is to get in the field.
Absolutely.
Every meet we've run this year, there's been over 32 cars. I've qualified each round.
Yeah, yeah. So, so you've been doing it a long time. I've known you and the girls quite some time, really.
We have, yes. I'm trying to think we'll go back a long way.
Yeah, because even when you were spectating,
Yeah.
I think I even took the girls to meet Nigel as well, didn't I?
Ken Block.
Ken,
Yeah.
Ken Block. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, in the
When he was doing the stunt show thing.
stunt show. Yeah,
he did, yeah.
Come on, let's go, girls. We're going to meet him. Really? Come on, let's go. Let's go. Yeah, so we did. Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah. So that was good.
Yeah, that's when he was working for
Nitro, yeah, back in the day, yeah. So
Solid Peas.
the Poddington Peas, that's another one, yeah.
They've died.
Yeah.
We're all still here, we're just all doing different
All
things.
the- yeah, everyone's moved on
Yeah.
one way or another, haven't they, sort of thing. So yeah, so I mean, you know, yeah, I mean the Poddington Peas, yeah, that's all good. So yeah, that's all good memories. But, yeah, I think you showed um, your enthusiasm for it, like racing at York, coming up here to watch and spectating, and then now you've got this dream machine here.
Yeah, I mean, it's life changing for me because I'm not over my budget, but I've had to give up a lot of things to do this, and I don't do anything else. I don't go on holiday.
Right.
All my money goes into the race. I don't have any sponsors.
Oh right, I was going to say
It's my hobby.
yeah,
Really,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I mean, if people want the sponsors, fair enough. But we've got all the class sponsors. I think we've got about 25 class sponsors.
yeah,
So we get money. We have number one qualifier, number one off the trailer, worst loser,
yeah,
biggest red light. We have daft things, and you get a few hundred quid. And obviously, if you go a few rounds, if you get through the quarterfinals, you get a little bit of money.
makes you feel to come here.
It does, yeah. To be honest, that's my biggest expense. The van drinks more fuel than the car.
Yeah, yeah.
We've done 4 runs today now. It's just petrol as well.
Right,
It's not race fuel.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
fuel.
Oh, right, okay.
So it's quite economical.
I mean, you wouldn't want to race this in the podcast. Go out there, drive around on the cruise.
Well, no, I think she's a bit beyond going on the road there.
Absolutely. Yeah, but no, it's because it's treated it, mate. No, but yeah, no. So it's pub gas. Superb car.
Small block turbo built by EDA. As I said earlier on, the small block was another story very quickly. Kenny said he could build me virtually a brand new small block for the price it would have cost to get the big block refurbished because the big block was really tight. And he rang us up a couple of weeks later and he's like, "Dave, how heavy is your car?" And I said, "Well, we didn't know at the time." He says, "I've got a set of manifolds in my garden shed. I've had in there for years. They are turbo manifolds from the early 80s in America. They suit your car down the ground and put turbo on it." And I'm like, no turbos, don't want turbo. Don't want any electronics on it. So plain and simple. And he's like, "All right, okay." Rings us up a couple of weeks later. He says, "I can do you a mechanically boost referenced, fuel referenced turbo setup, all mechanical." I'm like, "Oh, I'm interested in that."
Yeah, that's different.
Because it's pretty unique.
Yeah.
No map, no nothing. It's just all to know inlet pressure, exhaust pressure, inlet above the carburetor, below the carburetor, boost reference there also. It's very clever, but very simple. And I don't touch the engine. The first run was used as a baseline, and then because we run to a dial-in, I change the dial-in to suit the car.
Yeah.
So apart from maintenance, we don't touch the engine. We don't change the setup.
I'm quite happy with it. Still doing consistent time.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Keeps you happy.
Everybody said I would never be able to race it like it is because you need to spool up. How do you know what boost pressure you've got and all that sort of thing? It works. It's got 0.0 something reaction time.
Yeah.
It's took us a year or two to get to that
So ultimately, this, when you come here, is like a little mini holiday for you. A little bit of a break.
It is, yeah. We always try and come down a day early, and we always stop over the night after because it's a 5 hour drive home.
Yeah.
And after you've had a day doing this, even if it's just watching or it's hard work. So we stop over and then move on the next day. So yeah, it's like a mini holiday.
Yeah. You're enjoying yourself. That's the main thing.
That's the main thing. Yes, it's all fun.
Yeah.
Love it. Wouldn't change it for anything.
You've got the girls' support as well.
Yes.
So,
Yes. Well, Craig's having a year off, so I've got camp crew in Forest.
Yeah.
Steph's now working in the office, so I've lost her.
Yeah.
She's working with Kath now.
Here. Yeah.
Yeah. Got Paul comes down with every week. Peter comes just come down every now and then.
Yeah.
But now we get on, we get by.
Absolutely. So that's what it's all about, really.
Yeah, very rarely do we have to do anything with the car, so
Just polishing.
yeah, polishing, clean the tyres, check the oil, what have you, and that's it.
Nice. But that's amazing chatting to you.
Good to see you too.
Yeah. A lot of history between us all. Yeah. You guys come to the studio.
Yeah.
Good days. So,
Yeah, it was on the days, yeah.
And then now you've got this beauty.
Yeah. Living the dream.
Absolutely. Yeah. Not many people can say that, but you are.
Yeah,
So that's fantastic.
Get by some.
Well done, Dave.
Thank you very much.
Indeed. Thank you. BANZAI COBRA, Dave.